Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Hope you guys are all having a good Shabbat. So I wanted to pick up where we left off last week with Jeremiah 34. It says, while Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, and all his army, and all the kingdoms and peoples in the empire he ruled were fighting against Jerusalem and all its surrounding towns, this word came to Jeremiah from Yahuwah. This is what Yahuwah, the God of Israel, says. Go to Zedekiah, king of Judah, and tell him, this is what Yahuwah says. I am about to give this city into the hands of the king of Babylon, and he will burn it down. You will not escape from his grasp, but will surely be captured and given into his hands. You will see the king of Babylon with your own eyes, and he will speak with you face to face, and you will go to Babylon. Yet hear Yahuwah's promise to you, Zedekiah, king of Judah. This is what Yahuwah says concerning you. You will not die by the sword. You will die peacefully, as people made a funeral fire in honor of your predecessors, the kings who ruled before you. So they will make a fire in your honor and lament. Alas, master, I myself make this promise, declares Yahuwah. Then Jeremiah the prophet told all this to Zedekiah, king of Judah, in Jerusalem, while the army of the king of Babylon was fighting against Jerusalem and the other cities of Judah that were still holding out. Lachish and Azekah, these were the only fortified cities left in Judah. The word came to Jeremiah from Yahuwah after King Zedekiah had made a covenant with all the people in Jerusalem to proclaim freedom for the slaves. Everyone was to free their Hebrew slaves, both male and female. No one was to hold a fellow Hebrew in bondage. So all the officials and people who entered into this covenant agreed that they would free their male and female slaves and no longer hold them in bondage. They agreed and set them free. But afterward they changed their minds and took back the slaves they had freed and enslaved them again. Then the word of Yahuwah came to Jeremiah. This is what Yahuwah, the God of Israel, says. I made a covenant with your ancestors when I brought them out of Egypt, out of the land of slavery, he said. Every 7th year, each of you must free any fellow Hebrews who have sold themselves to you. After they have served you 6 years, you must let them go free. Your ancestors, however, did not listen to me or pay attention to me. Recently, you repented and did what is right in my sight. Each of you proclaimed freedom to your own people, and even made a covenant before me in the house that bears my name. But now you have turned around and profaned my name. How do you think Yahuwah's name was profaned in his house? The only thing that I can think of, and maybe this is Yahuwah putting this in my head, is another God that's reared up in the house of Yahuwah, like the Sunday church, and Messianics. I guess there's that separation that I'm seeing on Facebook. It's kind of weird, where it's like Christians or Messianics are against Christians, but yet they have the same exact doctrine. Like, there's no logic there. I mean, I know you're trying to keep yourself separated, but the ultimate thing here is Yahusha, Jesus, he comes from the New Testament. And the New Testament is what the Sunday Church teaches. It's what was discussed at the Council of Nicaea. So I'm really kind of confused on that. Like, the only difference that you're claiming is that it's Hebrew and it's Yahusha. But that's not really a separation. That's just a fancy label that you want to put on there. And that doesn't make it right. You can't say... That's like taking a dog, okay, and making a label that says dog. And then you see a cat, and you put the label on that cat that says dog. Well, everybody knows that that is a cat and not a dog. The label is clearly on the wrong thing, right? Okay, so it's not rocket science to figure this out. You can't sit there and bash the Christians who keep Easter and all the pagan festivals, which, by the way, that is not okay. If you guys are in a Sunday church and you are keeping Easter, you better go do some research on that, because Yahuwah doesn't play around, and he says that when that day was celebrated, that they were taking babies and they were sacrificing them to the god of Molech, because he's the only one who accepts human sacrifice. Let's remember that. Yahuwah is completely against that. But yeah, they take these eggs and they dip them inside of these sacrificed children's blood. Babies, newborns. Mostly, newborns is, Planned Parenthood. It's sad. It's really, really sad. And if you only knew the deception that was behind it, you wouldn't be celebrating this. But you know what? Christians, you've fallen asleep at the wheel. You need to catch up with times. Things are not as they were. We've been tricked and lied to about so much. And you guys need to come to truth and realize. And Messianics, I know that you guys love Yahuwah. And you think that you're supposed to pray through Yahusha, but why doesn't Yahuwah say any of this in his word? Why doesn't he say any of that? And only the New Testament does. We know where it was created. Are we really that blind? Do we really want to say, oh, no, that part's true. We got the Gospels. Those are true. When, if you do your research, you find out that Marcion of Sinope is the one who created this character. And he is actually quoted by Tertullian in a rebuttal that says that Marcion could not understand the difference between a good God and a bad God. The God of the New Testament, or the Old Testament, he was just this God of retribution, all about war, and he was just evil and mean, and how could he be like this to his people, right? And then he's like, I can't have this. There needs to be a divide, a separation. He couldn't understand duality. And so he said, okay, well, let me just fumble with the scriptures a little bit and see what we can concoct here. And boom, he came up with this Jesus character who separated the good and the bad. And it's all documented history. We know this. I don't know what Tertullian's document is at this point, but, it can all be backed up. This is not lies. We use history to figure out that the holidays were pagan. Why not use history to figure out who's behind all of this deception? I've done a lot of the legwork. I don't think a lot of people have brought this to the table. I'm not trying to take credit for it, because it's Yahuwah who reveals these things to us. But, it's just something that we need to look further into, because you're just gonna keep going in circles. There's not gonna be any understanding if you don't go into the research and you just want to think in your mind that you're correct. you owe it to yourself to go and do this research. You don't want to perish. How are you being found faithful if you're not digging into this? Stop worrying about the things of the world right now. Yahuwah said, don't worry about those things. Those things take care of themselves. And anything that's evil, he's purging evil, remember? So we just need to stay focused on his word and make sure that we're in his word and we're not in another's word. Like unleavened bread, you know? We have to get the leaven out. Well, what is the leaven? You know what the leaven is? It's anything that's not of Yahuwah. It's the evil. It's the things that we make an idol. You know, phones can become an idol. Video games can become an idol. Computers can become an idol. Anything can become an idol if you put it before Yahuwah. And that's not what he wants us to do. So that's the purpose of unleavened bread. But it also is to get any indoctrination out, these religions. That's the time of cleansing. And Yahuwah says, you're doing this because you are coming back to me. I'm not wanting you to go after some other person who claims to be my son, and I don't even know anything about that. I mean, even the prophets don't even say that. I don't know what kind of act it's going to take for everybody to see that we have to come back to Yahuwah. These are tests. What do you think tribulation means? It's a time of testing, right? We have to get it right. I mean, what are you gonna do when Sukkot rolls around and y'all are expecting to be married to Yahusha, Jesus? You know that Yahuwah is going to see all that blood that's speckled. Your garments are not white. They can only be white through Yahuwah when he pulls that spirit of whoredom out of you. When you turn from your Yahusha Jesus worship, because we're not supposed to even serve another. See, that's a contradiction in the Torah. You know? Yahuwah says that we serve only him, but Yahusha Jesus says that we serve each other. Well, where does it say that? In the New Testament, it only says that. There's a lot of things that if you look at that Yahusha Jesus says that do not match up with the Torah, with our living instructions, but people want to gloss it over. And I don't know who came up with the idea that they're like, oh, the prophets, they are talking about this character Jesus. Well, the only place that I've ever read that or heard of that is in the Sunday church and Messianic leaders. And I've read it, but maybe I just didn't have the eyes to see. And now Yahuwah's like, okay, well, I'm going to rip those eyes open because you need to see. The time is coming where it's just going to get more corrupt if you keep going down this path. Sorry for my rant. Okay, let's continue. All right. Okay, so we picked up at Jeremiah 34:17. Therefore, this is what Yahuwah says. You have not obeyed me. You have not proclaimed freedom to your own people. So I now proclaim freedom for you, declares Yahuwah. Freedom to fall by the sword, plague, and famine. I will make you abhorrent to all the kingdoms of the earth. Those who have violated my covenant and have not fulfilled the terms of the covenant they made before me, I will treat like the calf they cut in two and then walked between its pieces. The leaders of Judah and Jerusalem, the court officials, the priests, and all the people of the land who walked between the pieces of the calf, I will deliver into the hands of their enemies who want to kill them. Their dead bodies will become food for the birds and the wild animals. I will deliver Zedekiah, king of Judah, and his officials into the hands of their enemies, who want to kill them, to the army of the king of Babylon, which has withdrawn from you. I am going to give the order, declares Yahuwah, and I will bring them back to the city. They will fight against it, take it, and burn it down, and I will lay waste the towns of Judah, so no one can live there. Jeremiah 35. This is the word that came to Jeremiah from Yahuwah during the reign of Jehoiakim, son of Josiah, king of Judah. Go to the Rechabite family and invite them to come to one of the side rooms of the house of Yahuwah and give them wine to drink. So I went to get Jaazaniah, son of Jeremiah, the son of Habazaniah, and his brothers and all his sons, the whole family of the Rechabites. I brought them into the house of Yahuwah, into the room of the sons of Hanan, son of Igdaliah, the man of God. Oh, that's interesting. The man of God. It was next to the room of the officials, which was over that of Maaseiah, son of Shallum, the doorkeeper. Then I set bowls full of wine and some cups before the Rechabites and said to them, "Drink some wine." But they replied, "We do not drink wine because our forefather Jehonadab, son of Rechab, gave us this command. Neither you nor your descendants must ever drink wine. Also, you must never build houses, sow seed, or plant vineyards. You must never have any of these things, but must always live in tents. Then you will live a long time in the land where you are nomads. We have obeyed everything our forefather Jehonadab, son of Rechab, commanded us. Neither we nor our wives nor our sons and daughters have ever drunk wine, or built houses to live in, or had vineyards, fields, or crops. We have lived in tents and have fully obeyed everything our forefather Jehonadab commanded us. But when Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, invaded this land, he said, 'Come, we must go to Jerusalem to escape the Babylonian and Aramean armies.' So we have remained in Jerusalem." Then the word of Yahuwah came to Jeremiah, saying, "This is what Yahuwah Almighty, the God of Israel, says. Go and tell the people of Judah and those living in Jerusalem, will you not learn a lesson and obey my words, declares Yahuwah? Jehonadab, son of Rechab, ordered his descendants not to drink wine, and this command has been kept. To this day they do not drink wine, because they obey their forefathers' command. But I have spoken to you again and again, yet you have not obeyed me. Again and again I sent all my servants to prophesy you. They said, each of you must turn from your wicked ways and reform your actions. Do not follow other gods to serve them." Do you really think that Yahuwah, when he comes back, is going to say, "Don't serve other gods"? No, he's going to come down with a gavel. And y'all are going to be in some serious trouble. He's telling this. Right? He is saying this to this Rechab, right? I just lost my placing on this again. Okay, so he's like, right, Yahuwah didn't tell you to do that. He told you to do something else, but you're going to go and do something different. That's a problem. That's disobedience. And he's telling this guy, don't go, you weren't supposed to go and whore after other gods. I told you no, that you come back to me, that I'm the only one. See how jealous he is? He's like, I'm going to bring some destruction on you. That's how jealous our father is. And y'all want to sit there and, what is the word? Provoke him? Provoke him. I guess provoke him. Maybe test him. And he says, don't test me in this. Don't test me in this, because I will bring destruction. Alright, he brings the spirit of the destroyer. And it's interesting because I did some research about the destroyer, and it's Abaddon. And there's a company that's in Switzerland. It's called CERN. And it's in CERN, Switzerland. And it is rumored that, actually it's not even a rumor, you can go to the website and they'll tell you that they have their, I don't know how long it is, they have this huge circular tube thing, and they're smashing protons, neutrons, electrons, and all those trons that you can think of to make matter, to make dark matter. And they specifically say that. So they also are sitting on top of Abaddon's tomb, is what it's rumored. I don't think it says that on their website. It might. And a couple of years later, or a couple of years before, there was a video where somebody was recording like a mock sacrifice, and it was some girl who was in white, and she was being brought to the altar in front of the statue Shiva. Like, that's weird, right? So there's definitely something at work, and we'll read this further in Jeremiah, because it talks about the spirit of the destroyer. And it's just ironic that that's what's going on in certain Switzerland. And our government, not even our government, like every single country, they fund CERN. It's crazy. And it's just a bunch of scientists. And I think they're German scientists, actually, a lot of them. But it's just something to think about, as far as destruction coming with Yahuwah. He says that everything is going to be altered. So, if you know anything about CERN, I'm not going to tell you. You go research it yourself. They're the ones who are doing this. Like, they're the ones who are fulfilling prophecy right here, right before our eyes, about the destruction that's coming, the change in the weathers. I mean, Yah controls the weather, but there's also things that he controls as well as the evil. He controls the evil to do what he has originally wanted to have carried out. So, just something to think about. All right. Okay, so it says, I lost my place again. Okay, then the word of Yahuwah came to Jeremiah, saying, This is what Yahuwah Almighty, the God of Israel, says. Go and tell the people of Judah and those living in Jerusalem, will you not learn a lesson and obey my words, declares Yahuwah? Jehonadab, son of Rechab, ordered his descendants not to drink wine, and this command has been kept. To this day, they do not drink wine, because they obey their forefathers' command. But I have spoken to you again and again. I just read that, huh? Okay, sorry, guys. Oops. All right. The descendants of Jehonadab, son of Rechab, have carried out the command their forefather gave them, but these people have not obeyed me. Okay, that was 16. We'll just start in 17. Therefore, this is what Yahuwah, God Almighty, the God of Israel, says. Listen, I am going to bring on Judah and on everyone living in Jerusalem every disaster pronounced against them. I spoke to them, but they did not listen. I called to them, but they did not answer. Then Jeremiah said to the family of the Rechabites, This is what Yahuwah Almighty, the God of Israel, says. You have obeyed the command of your forefather Jehonadab, and have followed all his instructions, and have done everything he ordered. Therefore, this is what Yahuwah Almighty, the God of Israel, says. Jehonadab, son of Rechab, will never fail to have a descendant to serve me. Interesting. Jeremiah 36. In the 4th year of Jehoiakim, son of Josiah, king of Judah, this word came to Jeremiah from Yahuwah. Take a scroll and write on it all the words I have spoken to you concerning Israel, Judah, and all the other nations, from the time I began speaking to you in the reign of Josiah to now. Perhaps when the people of Judah hear about every disaster I plan to inflict on them, they will each turn from their wicked ways. Then I will forgive their wickedness and their sin. See that? He's going to forgive their sin. Yeah. So Jeremiah called Baruch, son of Neriah, and while Jeremiah dictated all the words that Yahuwah had spoke to him, Baruch wrote them on the scroll. Then Jeremiah told Baruch I am restricted. I am not allowed to go to Yahuwah's temple. So you go to the house of Yahuwah on a day of fasting and read to the people from the scroll the words of Yahuwah that you wrote as I dictated. Read them to all the people of Judah who come in from their towns. Oh my gosh, it's been like 100 here. I just want to go on a tangent. Sorry, guys. But it's been really, really hot here. 100. And, like, we're barely in April. And we're not even supposed to be reaching that until, like, May? Like, the end of May? Something like that? If I remember correctly. Or May. I don't remember correctly. But, yeah. We just got this nice breeze, so it was nice. And that's what reminded me of that. Okay. So, sorry about that. Perhaps they will bring their petition before Yahuwah and will each turn from their wicked ways. For the anger and wrath pronounced against this people by Yahuwah are great. Baruch son of Neriah did everything Jeremiah the prophet told him to do. At the temple he read the words of Yahuwah from the scroll. In the 9th month of the 5th year of Jehoiakim, son of Josiah, king of Judah, a time of fasting before Yahuwah was proclaimed for all the people in Jerusalem. And those who had come from the towns of Judah, from the room of Gemariah, son of Shaphan, the secretary, which was in the upper courtyard at the entrance of the new gate of the temple, Baruch read to all the people at Yahuwah's temple the words of Jeremiah from the scroll. When Micaiah, son of Gemariah, the son of Shaphan, heard all the words of Yahuwah from the scroll, he went down to the secretary's room in the royal palace where all the officials were sitting. Elishama, the secretary, Delaiah, son of Shemaiah, Elnathan, son of Akbor, Gemariah, son of Shaphan, Zedekiah, son of Hananiah, and all the other officials. After Micaiah told them everything he had heard, Baruch read to the people from the scroll. All the officials sent Jehudai, son of Nethaniah, the son of Shelemiah, the son of Cushai, to say to Baruch, "Bring the scroll from which you have read to the people and come." So Baruch, son of Neriah, went to them with the scroll in his hand. They said to him, "Sit down, please, and read it to us." So Baruch read it to them. When they heard all these words, they looked at each other in fear and said to Baruch, "We must report all these words to the king." Then they asked Baruch, "Tell us, how did you come to write all this? Did Jeremiah dictate it?" "Yes," Baruch replied. "He dictated all these words to me, and I wrote them in ink on the scroll." Then the official said to Baruch, "You and Jeremiah go and hide. Don't let anyone know where you are." After they put the scroll in the room of Elishama, the secretary, they went to the king in the courtyard and reported everything to him. The king sent Jehudai to get the scroll, and Jehudai brought it from the room of Elishama, the secretary, and read it to the king and all the officials, standing beside him. It was the 9th month, and the king was sitting in the winter apartment with a fire burning in the firepot in front of him. Whenever Jehudai had read 3 or 4 columns of the scroll, the king cut them off with a scribe's knife and threw them in the firepot, until the entire scroll was burned in the fire. Whew. The king and all his attendants who heard all these words showed no fear. Ooh, see, look at that. That's key word right there. No fear. There's so many people who don't have enough fear to come back to him. They don't. Their fear is in Yahushua Jesus, because of the verse that he says. I mean, what a scare tactic, right? The world has you shaking in your own skin. You'll claim that, "Oh, I'm not falling for the tricks of the government. I'm not falling for that." Well, yeah, you are, because you know that the elite is Babylon. Like, they are the ones who control. They are the kings and the queens of Babylon. And they are all over the countries controlling us, including through a religion system. And Christianity and Messianics, that's all a religion, because you're putting another God before Yahuwah. You claim, oh no, wait, no, he is him. It's his son. Where does Yahuwah say any of that? I mean, do you really just walk away from that question and not dig and find out? Because one of the prophets have to say it. I mean, Amos says that nothing is going to happen unless the prophets have it revealed to them first. So why wasn't Yahushua Jesus prophesied? You're gonna say that's Isaiah 53? No, I think Isaiah 53 was tampered with so bad. I mean, because I see that talking about Israel. I think it's talking about Ezekiel, because remember, Ezekiel 4 specifically tells us that Ezekiel was going to take the punishment for the iniquity of everybody's sin. And it says Israel, Judah, who was Jerusalem, a bunch of other ones. The whole nations, everybody he addressed. And he was supposed to take the punishment for that. He took the lashes. He took the bands, is what it says. But if you look in the Strongs, it says he took the what? The stripes. Yeah. Ezekiel did. So major tampering. And then it says that he will be buried among the evil, or the wicked, or something like that. I can't quote it exactly because I'm not looking at it. But that's not the Yahushua Jesus. There's some serious tampering going on right there. And y'all need to wake up and see that. Go research it. I know there's so many people that are feeling the tug. You're just like, oh my gosh, but that one scripture that Yahushua Jesus says that if you deny me, I'll deny you before my Father. But where does Yahuwah say that his son is Yahushua? He doesn't. And that's what everybody's just on this kick about. You know, I don't care if, you know, there's so many places where it says that Ephraim's Yahuwah's son, David is Yahuwah's son, and Israel is Yahuwah's son. Okay, so where are you getting this from, that Yahuwah has a son that comes to atone our sins? You don't discover that anywhere until the New Testament. Until the New Testament. But the prophets have to back up everything. Everything. So what are you standing on? It's like beating a dead horse, but I don't want to say that, because there has to be hope that you guys come back to Yahuwah. And I can only sound the alarm so long. I mean, can't really sound the alarm when destruction's already here. It's just not possible. So, anyway. Alright. So we left off. I don't even know where I left off. Okay, the king and all his attendants who heard all these words, this is Jeremiah 36:24, who heard all these words, showed no fear. That's where it was. Nor did they tear their clothes. Even though Elnathan, Delaiah, and Gemariah urged the king not to burn the scroll, he would not listen to them. Instead, the king commanded Jeremiel, a son of the king, Seraiah, son of Azrael, and Shelemiah, son of Abdiel, to arrest Baruch, the scribe, and Jeremiah the prophet. But Yahuwah had hidden them. After the king burned the scroll containing the words that Baruch had written as Jeremiah's dictation, the word of Yahuwah came to Jeremiah. Take another scroll and write on it all the words that were on the first scroll, which Jehoiakim, king of Judah, burned up. Remember that. He did something really, really bad right there. And And Yahuwah is not happy about this. Also, tell Jehoiakim, king of Judah, this is what Yahuwah says. You burned that scroll and said, why did you write on it that the king of Babylon would certainly come and destroy this land and wipe from it both man and beast? Therefore, here you go. Here it is. Because of what he did. Remember this. Because of what he did. This is what Yahuwah says about Jehoiakim, king of Judah. He will have no one to sit on the throne of David. His body will be thrown out and exposed to the heat by day and the frost by night. I will punish him and his children and his attendants for their wickedness. I will bring on them and those living in Jerusalem and the people of Judah every disaster I pronounced against them, because they have not listened. Okay, see that? What did that just say? So, there's not going to be anybody reigning on the throne until when? Well, go read Ezekiel 37, until the two sticks are joined. The two sticks are not joined yet. So, how can there be a Messiah when those two sticks haven't been joined yet? Do you understand how crazy that sounds? This is blasphemy against Yahuwah if you're going to sit there and say that he has a son that came to atone for our sins, because none of his sons came to atone for our sins except for Ezekiel. And it says that in Ezekiel 4. Clear as day. You cannot dispute that. It's all right there. I don't know how much clearer Jeremiah 36:30 can be. There, I mean... Oy, okay. So anyway. So Jeremiah took another scroll and gave it to the scribe Baruch, son of Neriah. And as Jeremiah dictated, Baruch wrote on it all the words of the scroll that Jehoiakim, king of Judah, had burned in the fire. And many similar words were added to them. Many similar words were added to them, huh? Jeremiah 37. Alright. Zedekiah, son of Josiah, was made king of Judah in Nebuchadnezzar's day. Made king of Judah by Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon. He reigned in place of Jehoiakim, son of Jehoiakim. See that? Jehoiakim's son never, ever got to continue reigning at all. He was dethroned. Dethroned right there. Neither he nor his attendants nor the people of the land paid any attention to the words Yahuwah had spoken through Jeremiah the prophet. King Zedekiah, however, sent Jehukal, son of Shelemiah, with the priest Zephaniah, son of Maaseiah, to Jeremiah the prophet with this message: Please pray to Yahuwah our God for us. Zephaniah is in this too, so here's some key things. Go look at Zephaniah and see if there is anything about a coming Messiah named Yeshua, Yahusha, Jesus. Because this doesn't happen until Ezekiel 37, when the two sticks are joined together. Okay. Now, Jeremiah was free to come and go among the people, for he had not yet been put in prison. Pharaoh's army had marched out of Egypt, and when the Babylonians who were besieging Jerusalem heard the report about them, they withdrew from Jerusalem. Sorry, I'm trying to stay out of the sun. I'm gonna scooch her over just a little bit so we're not in the sun. There we go. Okay. All right. So then the word of Yahuwah came to Jeremiah the prophet. This is what Yahuwah, the God of Israel, says. Tell the king of Judah, who sent you to inquire of me. Pharaoh's army, which has marched out to support you, will go back to its own land, to Egypt. Then the Babylonians will return and attack this city. They will capture it and burn it down. This is what Yahuwah says. Do not deceive yourselves, thinking the Babylonians will surely leave us. They will not. Even if you were to defeat the entire Babylonian army, that is attacking you, and only wounded men were left in their tents, they would come out and burn the city down. Okay, if we can try to apply that to today, like, if we're modern day Babylon, we're gonna burn. Remember, Solomon says, what will be again. So we need to look at this as like we're walking in these days, because we really are. I mean, it's gonna repeat itself. After the Babylonian army had withdrawn from Jerusalem because of Pharaoh's army, Jeremiah started to leave the city to go to the territory of Benjamin to get his share of the property among the people there. But when he reached the Benjamin gate, the captain of the guard, whose name was Irijah, son of Shelemiah, the son of Hananiah, arrested him and said, You are deserting to the Babylonians. That's not true, Jeremiah said. I am not deserting to the Babylonians. But Irijah would not listen to him. Instead, he arrested Jeremiah and brought him to the officials. They were angry with Jeremiah and had him beaten and imprisoned in the house of Jonathan, the secretary, which they had made into a prison. Jeremiah was put into a vaulted cell in a dungeon, where he remained a long time. Then King Zedekiah sent for him and had him brought to the palace, where he asked him privately, Is there any word from Yahuwah? Yes, Jeremiah replied. You will be delivered into the hands of the king of Babylon. Nice words. Then Jeremiah said to King Zedekiah, What crime have I committed against you, or your attendants, or this people, that you have put me in prison? Where are your prophets who prophesied to you? The king of Babylon will not attack you or this land. But now my Lord the king, please listen. Okay, I can't see the word there. Let me bring my petition before you. Do not send me back to the house of Jonathan, the secretary, or I will die there. King Zedekiah then gave orders for Jeremiah to be placed in the courtyard of the guard and given a loaf of bread from the street of the bakers each day until all the bread in the city was gone. So Jeremiah remained in the courtyard of the guard. Jeremiah 38. Shephatiah, son of Matan, Gedaliah, son of Pashhur, Jehukal, son of Shelemiah, and Pashhur, son of Malchijah, heard what Jeremiah was telling all the people when he said, This is what Yahuwah says, Whoever stays in this city will die by the sword, famine, or plague. But whoever goes over to the Babylonians will live. They will escape with their lives. They will live, and this is what Yahuwah says. The city will certainly be given into the hands of the hands of the army of the king of Babylon, who will capture it. Jeez, this is not good. I'm going to pause this for a minute and pick right back up. Yeah, totally different scenery, I know. Just like changed instantly. Okay. So we left off. They will escape with their lives, they will live. And this is what Yahuwah says. This city will certainly be given into the hands of the army of the king of Babylon, who will capture it. Okay, so this kind of reminds me of like our captivity right now. Like, as you read further down, it talks about how in this city that they're going to be allowed to live in it as long as they serve Babylon. Alright, so it says, Then the officials said to the king, This man should be put to death. He is discouraging the soldiers who are left in this city, as well as all the people, by the things he is saying to them. This man is not seeking the good of these people with their ruin. He is in your hands, King Zedekiah answered. He is in your hands, King Zedekiah answered. The king can do nothing to oppose you. So they took Jeremiah and put him into the cistern of Malchijah, the king's son, which was in the courtyard of the guard. They lowered Jeremiah by ropes into the cistern. It had no water in it, only mud, and Jeremiah sank down into the mud. But Ebed-Melech, a Cushite, an official in the royal palace, heard that they had put Jeremiah into the cistern. While the king was sitting in the Benjamin gate, Ebed-Melech went out of the palace and said to him, My lord the king, these men have acted wickedly in all they have done to Jeremiah the prophet. They have thrown him into a cistern where he will starve to death when there is no longer any bread in the city. Then the king commanded Ebed-Melech, the Cushite, Take 30 men from here with you and lift Jeremiah the prophet out of the cistern before he dies. Oh my God, it's so hot here. So Ebed-Melech took the men with him and went to a room under the treasury in the palace. He took some old rags and worn-out clothes from there and let them down with ropes to Jeremiah in the cistern. Ebed-Melech the Cushite said to Jeremiah, Put these old rags and worn-out clothes under your arms to pad the ropes. Jeremiah did. So they pulled him up with the ropes and lifted him out of the cistern, and Jeremiah remained in the courtyard of the guard. Then King Zedekiah sent for Jeremiah the prophet and had him brought to the third entrance to the temple of Yahuwah. I am going to ask you something, the king said to Jeremiah. Do not hide anything from me. Jeremiah said to Zedekiah, If I give you an answer, will you not kill me? Even if I did give you counsel, you would not listen to me. That's so funny. Because, we're trying to give everybody counsel. I think everybody's trying to give everybody counsel, but the ultimate counsel that we need to give each other is the truth. Yahuwah's truth. Not our truth, not indoctrinated truth, but Yahuwah's truth. I mean, Jeremiah had to say this to Zedekiah. How many Zedekiahs are there running around? And hopefully you guys are Zedekiah and you turn from your way. I don't know if Zedekiah does. I might be getting him mixed up with... No, maybe it is him. I don't know. Okay. But that's interesting. That we're giving counsel and nobody's listening. But King Zedekiah swore this oath secretly to Jeremiah. Where'd I go? As surely as Yahuwah lives, who has given us breath, I will neither kill you nor hand you over to those who want to kill you. Then Jeremiah said to Zedekiah, This is what Yahuwah God Almighty, the God of Israel, says. If you surrender to the officers of the king of Babylon, your life will be spared, and this city will not be burned down, and you and your family will live. But if you will not surrender to the officers of the king of Babylon, this city will be given into the hands of the Babylonians, and they will burn it down. You yourself will not escape from them. King Zedekiah said to Jeremiah, I am afraid of the Jews who have gone over to the Babylonians, for the Babylonians may hand me over to them, and they will mistreat me. They will not hand you over, Jeremiah replied. Obey Yahuwah by doing what I tell you. Then it will go well for you, and your life will be spared. But if you refuse to surrender, this is what Yahuwah has revealed to me. All the women left in the palace of the king of Judah will be brought out to the officials of the king of Babylon. Those women will say to you, they misled you and overcame you. Those trusted friends of yours, your feet are sunk in the mud. Your friends have deserted you. All your wives and children will be brought out to the Babylonians. You yourself will not escape from their hands, but will be captured by the king of Babylon, and this city will be burned down. Then Zedekiah said to Jeremiah, do not let anyone know about this conversation, or you may die. If the officials hear that I talk with you, and they come to you and say, tell us what you said to the king, and what the king said to you, do not hide it from us, or we will kill you. Then tell him, I was pleading with the king not to send me back to Jonathan's house to die there. All the officials did come to Jeremiah and question him, and he told them everything the king had ordered him to say. So they said no more to him, for no one had heard his conversation with the king. And Jeremiah remained in the courtyard of the guard until the day Jerusalem was captured. Yeah, next chapter is going to be pretty long, and I don't want to go on to 2 hours again. So I'm going to stop there. I just want everybody to see that, we are living in Babylon, obviously. And this same thing is happening. If we fight Babylon, we're going to be destroyed. Like all these people want to talk about vaccinations, like, oh, I'm going to go protest and I'm going to go to what are you going to do when the civil rights are taken away from everybody, and the only way to control you is through military coming in to control the population? Don't be an idiot. You need to stand down, and we have to go through Babylon until Yahuwah comes. It's not rocket science to figure this out. It's because of our disobedience that these destroyers are coming. And the spirit of the destroyer, Abaddon. I don't even know what that's going to look like. So, I'm going to go ahead and end it here. Everybody, I hope you had a good Shabbat, and thank you for taking your time to come and listen to the word with me while I read it. I hope it made sense to you, what I was saying, but I'll go ahead and pick up next week with Jeremiah 39. So, Shabbat Shalom, everybody.